Alright guys, so welcome back. This is section 3.2, so we're going to learn some more advanced aspects of programming. Specifically, we're going to do things like changing the color, drawing circles. Instead of telling our turtle to turn its angle and point and move in directions, which is kind of annoying, we're going to just say like, yeah, no, you're right here. I want you to go to here. I want you to go to here. I want you to go to here. We can use coordinate points to figure those out. We'll also be filling in colors. We'll be changing different colors of our turtle, and we'll even get the turtle to write some text. That's really the main focus of what we're going to look at on here. So, with that in mind, let's open up Python, and we are going to make a new file. All right. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to change my settings for my text size. I'm going to make this a little bit larger because I was looking back at a few of these videos, and they just didn't look that fantastic. So why don't we go with 25? Get a little bit larger text. You may also notice the video is recording in 1080p now. Finally figure out how to get that running on OBS, which was ridiculously simple, but you know, I assumed it would just scale to what I wanted it to record. But anyway, let's dive right in. So we're dealing with graphics. First thing that we need to do, import turtle. Those bring in the graphics capabilities. Then screen equals turtle.screen with parentheses. So now we can just send commands to screen instead of anything else. So while we're at it, why don't we say screen.setup. Let's do 600 wide, 400 tall. And finally, we have to make a turtle. T1 equals turtle.Turtle with parentheses. So that's our first piece. First thing we always want to do is make sure we can run it. Again, do not save this guy as just plain old turtle. All right, I'm gonna put desktop, nope, that's not it. My Python files, there it is. All right, example, or nope, exercise 3.2, because we're gonna make it an advanced version of graphics. All right, we run it. This is my graphics window. It's a little small, so maybe I'll make it larger. Let's make it about 800 by 500. F5 to run. And there we go. Our screen's a little bit larger for our graphics. Okay. So what we want to look at is just a bunch of different features. Basically, I'm going to go over these one by one and just show you how each of these things can be made. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of give you some tasks or like some graphics or shapes or things to draw as kind of like a homework or a test how you feel about it kind of activity. So the first thing that I want to do is the background color is by default white, but if I say screen.bgcolor, let's do orange. Basically, any color that I put inside these quotes is going to be the color that we can change it to. I'll provide a link to a list of all the background colors or all the colors that Python can recognize. But there we go. Basic orange, just we changed the whole background color of our stuff. Let's leave it at orange for now because why not? All right. The next thing that I want to talk about is, this is something that'll come in handy as you're starting to design things. I didn't give it to you in the first section because I wanted you to kind of play around and then show you some more features to unlock them from there. But if I say t1.speed, let's give it a speed of 8. And then I'm going to say t1.forward 100, t1.right 90. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and paste it a bunch of times. I want to just basically go around in the path of a square. All right, so we'll run that. And if I show you it now, that turtle is moving pretty darn fast. I know it was difficult for me to show it to you as I was like bringing it over. So I'm just going to do something. You don't need to worry about this, but press enter to make turtle move. If you ever need to slow stuff down so you can press enter, you can just put an input. We'll learn about that later. This is just basically going to pause the code. So I'm going to run it again. See how it says press enter to make the turtle move? All right, so what I want to do is I'm going to bring my turtle graphics over here, and then I'm going to half screen this guy. Let's do that. All right. So now when I press enter, you can see it happen. I'm going to leave this up just so you can see the actions happen as they go. All right, we're moving pretty darn fast. If I change the speed to 1 and run it again. All right, now let me grab the turtle graphics. Come on. All right, I press enter. It's moving sluggish. It's moving real slow. Like, that is painstakingly slow. So the idea behind it is pretty much we can tell our code, not here, right here on the speed, we can change or adjust how fast it goes. It goes from 1 to 10, 10 being the fastest, but if you want it to happen instantaneously, if I just say t1.speed 0, so let's just see that in action as well. Let me just grab the window. Come on. All right, and we're noticing that Python graphics kind of crash a little bit when you try to move the window or things like that. We don't need to worry about that too much. There's a reason behind it. I don't want to go too deep. But anyway, what we're focusing on here is the speed is 0. So when I press enter, it just like fired through it as fast as it could. So what's nice about this is on the speed 0, you can set it if you're being impatient about things being drawn, and your computer will draw it as fast as it can. There are some other features where you can just make the turtle graphics appear, like the computer does it discreetly in the background, and then you just update the graphics. But again, we're not going into advanced things. We're just trying to get some of the basics, the absolute basics of Python on here. All right, so I'm going to leave this. Let's leave it at a speed of 8 because why not? All right, now the next thing that we can do is we can adjust some of the other properties of the turtle. So we're going to say t1.width. I'm going to put in 7. Then I'm going to say t1.forward 100. So now what we're saying is I want the width of the pen to be 7 pixels wide. So if I run this guy now, all right, my line came out much thicker than if I were to just set the width to 1. Okay, and notice that I'm doing this pretty quick. I'm pressing F5 on my keyboard to make it run. The equivalent would be to run module. Depending on what Python you're using, that might be positioned somewhere elsewhere. But run module makes it happen as well. All right. I can close that out. So we can change the width to whatever we want. If you do something ridiculous, like 76, and we run it, you're going to get a giant thick line, which is fine for a lot of things you may want to do. You can build some pretty neat stuff with it. But basically what you're saying is I want there to be 76 pixels in the width of this line as my turtle moves forward. All right. So width is pretty cool. What we can also do, let's make this more manageable just so we have something to play around with. I can also say t1.color, and let's change this to blue. Okay, so now I've changed the width to 7, I've changed the color to blue, and then I made it move forward 100. Let's see what we get now. Okay, you might notice that the color changed to blue. We can change it to pretty much any color we want. Again, there will be a link at the bottom for all the colors that we can use, but you can change the color of what color it changes in the ink. Now, a lot of the times I see mistakes where people say, all right, I want the width to be 7, I want it to draw a line with 100 forward, and I want it to be purple. But let's see, let me change this to, how about white? So it'll be a little bit easier to recognize. Okay, so the color started as black, but then the turtle here now has turned white. What happened is, it's the order in which we give our instructions to our code. If you change the color after you have all the actions done, yeah, the turtle will be white and future moves will be turning white. But you need to make sure that the order or the setups that you do happen before the motion or the drawing or anything else that you want to happen. All right, so now I got it to come in as white. Cool. All right. So some other things that we can do. I don't want to do forward anymore. Let's leave these as is. I kind of like that orange and white background. It just looks kind of neat. Something I haven't seen in a while. What we can also do instead of, having the turtle just move forward, we can also tell the turtle to go to, and let's send it to 200, 200. You have to give 2 values. If you remember back in mathematics, you were graphing items. So this means 200 to the right and 200 up. Let's see what happens here. If I run this guy, all right, it went diagonally up. It went basically the right 200 and up 200 and draw the direct line right to get to there. All right. There's different areas we can go to. I'm going to use these 200 as examples. Negative 200, 200. Let's run that. Okay, we got negative 200, 200 went this way. All right. If I make them both negative, negative 200, we'll run that guy. We get down to the lower left corner. And also, if I remove this negative here, it's 200 comma negative 200 will get us over to here. All right. So, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to build a triangle really quick. T1.goto. So I'm at 200, negative 200. That means it's out to the right and down. So then I want it to go to 200, comma 200. And then I want to bring it back where it started. T1.goto. Maybe you can guess where the dead center is. 0, comma 0. All right. Because that is the center or the origin. So let's try running this guy. F5 to run. Okay. And boom, I built a triangle. And it was almost like a perfect looking triangle because I didn't have to worry about the angles, which way it's pointing, which way it goes, turn it, have it move forward again, have it turn again, nope, wrong way, turn again. And that's just kind of annoying, all right? So go-tos are pretty nice. Now, looking at your setup size, 800, 500, this means that I can go basically 400 out this way or 400 out that way because that's the full width of it. And then 250 up or 250 down because I just grabbed the halves of each of these to know which direction I could go. Be mindful of that because if you send your turtle to 2000s and run it, it's going to go super far out and come back. And even if I maximize the screen, we didn't get to the full size of it. So just be mindful of where you send your turtle and things like that. All right, let's undo those because I don't want it to look ridiculous, even though a white triangle on an orange background might already be that. We're moving on. All right, so we got the color, we got the circle, we changed the, we didn't do circle. Oops, my mistake. Let's do that a little bit later. I want to show you one other thing before we draw circles. I want to show you how to fill in items. So in Python, we can actually color things in, much like Microsoft Paint, if you've ever seen that before. I'm hoping everyone has seen Microsoft Paint. However, if I were to draw a shape, and then I were to take the paint bucket tool and color it in, see how it colors in that whole shape that I created? You can even color the outside of it. But the main idea is once I draw a shape, I want it to be colored in. We can do that in Python. What we have to do is say t1.begin_fill with parentheses. And then afterwards, we have to say t1.end_fill with parentheses. Now when I run this, depending on what color it is and what I drew, it is going to color in that shape. All right. So notice how I went to each of these spots. Once it got back, the end fill got triggered, and then it colored in the whole piece. All right, let's do a weird kind of thing though. Let's say I wanted to send this to 100, 0 instead. Let's do 100, 100. That's too many zeros. And let me remove these for a second. So let's just see what shape we have first. And again, we're learning how Python behaves. See how it kind of built most of the triangle and it was like, oh, we almost got there. All right, let's put in those begin fill and end fill commands. And let's see what we get. Because if you try to color that in, like, I don't know how it's going to behave. So let's see what we get. All right, boom. We still colored it in. Now, notice from here, though, you have this little tiny nudge that's like not filled in. That's because the extra width from the turtle pen should have drawn and colored it all in. However, what happens is it hits begin fill. It takes its location. So where's the location right here? That would be at 0, 0. All right. So right there is where it starts its begin fill journey. And then we have it go to each of these locations, and then it gets back to 100, 100. When it gets there, it says, well, I started at 0, 0, so I'll just put that there again. So I kind of feel like I need to fill in with an imaginary line going to there. So if you don't completely fill it in, the begin fill and end fill will still sandwich just fine to take care of that. All right. So again, I'm just going to snap it back so you can see it coloring in with the full, that not little etched nudge cut out of it, which again, we're fine the way that we are. We're just playing right now. All right, so that's pretty much how BeginFill and EndFill work. They let us color things in. Now I teased you with circles, so let's go right into that. All right, if I say t1.circle 100, all right, it draws a circle with radius of 100. So let's try running this. All right, and you should have gotten something like this. All right, the turtle draws a circle around, and that's about it. It draws counterclockwise going around unless the turtle's pointing another direction. For me, I kind of like this because I know I build the circle from the bottom and it works its way across and up to the top. All right. What you can also do is put in another value here. 100, 180. Let's see what we get. All right, we got half the circle. That 180 represented 180 degrees of the 360 degrees circle. So if I do something like 270, I should get 270 degrees of the 360 degree circle. Okay? You can play around with that a little bit. You can do some pretty clever and creative things with that as well. All right? So circles are pretty neat. Normally, if I want a circle, like, I don't want half circles or things like that. So I usually just leave it as a full-fledged circle, but I wanted to share that you can do partial circles in this as well. All right. What we can also do is, if you can think of it, you can probably combine it. So we'll begin fill, end fill, run it. And what do we get? The full circle colored in. Okay, so that's begin fill with end fill. Again, if you can think of ways to combine code, you can make it happen. That's the beauty of programming in general, is everything is interconnected. You can make everything pretty much interconnect and build the way that you want. All right, so there is one last thing that I want to show you. All right, and that is the t1.write function. Python is awesome. All right, now if I tell the turtle to write it, now I can run module, and it will actually write the text, Python is awesome. Now, this is a little bit tiny, so what I'm going to do really quick is I'm just going to take a quick pause because I don't remember all of the codes and the formatting to make this look right, so I'm just going to bring it up and take a look at it, and then we got one more thing to do, and then we are finished with this lesson. Okay, turns out I do remember how to do this. I always get a little kind of hesitant about it. But anyway, I'm going to run this again really quick just to see what it looks like. Some things I don't like is the text starts from here and writes out to the side, so you kind of have to like judge your distance. What I'd like to do is have the text perfectly centered, and also this needs to be made a little bit larger. So what we can do, and there's more options beyond what I'm going to show you today. Again, I just want you to play. All right, comma, align, that's the word, equals center. You can have it left, right, or center, and then comma, font equals, and then we're going to make a new set of parentheses. Inside of these parentheses, we have to tell Python a couple things. All right. First off, I need to give it a type of font that I'm going to use. Let's say Arial, comma, how large do we want the font to be? Let's say 25, and then comma, we can add extra things such as, not cold, bold, or we can make it normal, or we can even make it underline. So let's leave it at underline for now. All right. So now what Python has been told to do is write this text, comma, here are some options. The align is in the center, comma, here's another option. I want to specify the font type. Let's try running this and see what we get. All right. And boom, Python is awesome, much larger, looks neater. It's also underlined. I can also go back. I can make this bold. I think bold is the way to do it. Yep, there we go. Got some bold text. Or if you just want to make it normal like I do, use the word normal. All right. And boom, Python is awesome. So that's how you get the turtle to write things. Want to try something. I don't know if this will work on here, but it depends. How about wingdings? If you've ever seen those, that's like that weird gibberish that is like, I think it's like a precursor to emoji. And boom, this says Python is awesome. But that's letter P, Y, T, H, O, N. You can look these up. There are different types of fonts. But you can kind of write like almost like alien hieroglyphics on here, like just to make things look kind of neat and look cool and things like that. So if you want to get fancy with any of your fonts, if your computer recognizes a font, it will most likely run it or be able to interpret and make it appear on here, which again is kind of cool because if you install different fonts, you can make some pretty neat stuff happen. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to go back to making this look the way it does. All right, there's pretty much one last thing I would like to do on here. Because we've done the background color, we've changed the movement speed, we've changed the width, we've drawn circles, we know goto, we can fill in information, we can change colors, we can write things. So what I want to do really quick is just also show you t1.goto 0, 100. I want to raise up the text. So let's try running that, see what we get. Maybe we'll run into an error and we have to fix it. Python is awesome, but there's just like a line showing up, which is kind of weird. Why did that happen? Anybody? All right. So what we need to do is say t1.up to pick up the pen so it doesn't leave a mark. Now, most people will think, okay, we have to put the pen back down to make it so that it writes, but we actually don't. Writing is different from drawing and moving places. So let's just try running this without the down command. And we were able to raise Python is awesome. So this is looking pretty neat. We can make a nice little title. I can draw a shape down here. I can do some cool stuff. But the one thing that's kind of getting in the way is that little turtle there. I don't like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that turtle go away. I'm going to say t1.hide turtle with parentheses. And when I run this, all right, the turtle disappears on us. And that is nice because now we kind of have like this window space. I can draw something down here. And what's even really cool is t1.down. If I say t1.goto, let's go back to 0, negative 100. It can still draw because you're going to see it draw something just because I want to show you having it draw with the pen. Even though the turtle isn't there, it still draws. Some people actually prefer to remove the turtle entirely from the equation because they can kind of figure out and play around with how to get the turtle to move. All right. But anyway, if I get rid of the down command and I copy this, paste it down here, made by Brian Fadouk, and let's make this text a little bit smaller. Let's try this guy. Okay. So now Python is awesome, made by Brian Fadouk. The turtle's nowhere to seen. This is my nice little graphics program that I've been able to play around with. All right. So there are a lot of different things that you can play around with in terms of designing things. So what I would like you guys to try, though, is I would very much like to see you guys build the Olympic rings. Now, don't worry about interlinking each of these rings. That is going to be a very difficult task. Could you do it? Absolutely. I know you could do that if you tried and spent the time doing it. What I really care about is more or less you guys just building some sort of colored box, fill it in. If you want to do white background, it's kind of boring, you know, draw like a black background, a blue, green, a pink background. I don't care. They're your Olympic rings. You do whatever you want to do. Draw the first 3 rings across the top, ring 1, ring 2, ring 3, and then on the bottom, just draw the yellow ring and the green ring. They'll be on top, they'll overlay everything. But again, we're not going to try to build this perfect version of the Olympic rings. For those of you who want a challenge, yeah, you should be trying that. But for now, you just want a very simple Olympic rings design. You can look online to see anything that exists, you know, some cool things, but you know, the main idea is just kind of draw them as best you can without that interlinking property. That's what your assignment is going to be. If you're one of my students watching this in class, that's what your assignment will be to hand in to me. But if you're just doing this to learn from my boot camp, hey, it's up to you. You design it, you build it however you like. You want to make things even fancier, throw some text at the bottom. You want to do some even more fancy stuff, try to make things blink different colors. And I'm going to show you that really quick. So I'm going to t1.write, Python is awesome, t1.color, let's change it to blue, and then we're going to copy these guys. I'm going to change this to white. All right, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all of these and I'm going to paste like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of versions of them. Because now when I run it, I'm going to see if I can grab the window and bring it over quick enough. All right, it's going to be blinking. Python is awesome in different colors. All right, so you can do some neat stuff with that. If you just slow down the turtle's speed and you have the turtle move right 1 degree, move left 1 degree, you can actually put a delay between these as well. All right, again, this is you trying to challenge yourself and seeing what you can accomplish. A lot of the things that you'll learn in this course are going to be things that you figure out and you get up and running in the way that you want it to happen. All right, so any questions, be sure to post them into the comments section. I've taught you quite a few different things. We're going to have one additional mini lesson on how to add an image in Python. So if you want to add like a GIF file, we can import it, we can save it, we can make sure that everything looks right, and you can pull in images into Python if you want the turtle to become a different image on each of them. But again, that'll be an extra credit thing. I don't know what I'll name it yet. Probably lesson 3.2.a. I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there. I'll link it in the description. Anyway, those are pretty much all the graphics that you're going to learn in this course. But with that, you can do a lot of different things. If you really want to make something fancy, you could start building like a slot machine design or things like that. But again, that's something we'll be tackling later in chapter 10 of this assignment. All right? So, best of luck. If you get stuck with anything, be sure to check over, watch the video again if you need, and if you have any questions, post them in the comments. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.